Hello everybody and welcome back to part 2 of our academic advisory video here from the College and Career Readiness Department. Once again, my name is Esteban Monja. I'm the Work-Based Learning Specialist here within the district. Last time I shared with you guys a little anecdote, little story about my golf triumph in hitting a hole-in-one. So I mixed it up a little bit this time and I'm sharing a picture of me. This is back in 2015. At the U.S. Grand Prix in Austin, Texas. The reason I'm sharing it is because as a kid, it was always like my dream to go to an F1 race. And it took quite a long time to reach that milestone for me. But once I was there, it was quite a cool little life experience. And, just a reminder that sometimes it's good to set goals that aren't always directly related to what you want to do or what you want to become. But just something to keep you motivated and keep you working hard to eventually achieve whatever goal it is you set out to achieve. I shared with you guys a couple memes similar to last time, this time relating to, when you're looking for a job or career, oftentimes we hear two things from students. I want a job that pays really well, or I'm having trouble finding a job because no one wants to hire me because I have no experience. So a couple memes there that kind of hit those 2 points, which from my conversations with students oftentimes is their experience with careers or finding jobs. I also just kind of wanted to review a little bit of our main idea from last time, and this was the concept of Ikigai, which is, finding something you're passionate about, something that you love, something that you can get paid for, what the world needs, and something you're good at. And we kind of addressed a little bit of, finding your passion and maybe your mission of what you want to do, but we really didn't spend much time on professions and the vocation aspects of Ikigai. Hopefully today we'll kind of paint a little clearer picture of what that looks like, specifically with regards to what we refer to as a post-secondary plan. So I'm going to play this video, which kind of summarizes a little bit about what post-secondary means, and then we'll dive a little deeper into that after the video. All right.
High school graduation is a day everyone looks forward to. It's supposed to be the best day of your life, right? But what happens next? When I finished high school, I felt like I was dropped into an ocean full of possibilities, and it felt kind of overwhelming. Everyone was asking me about my next step. What career was I planning on? Would I be continuing my education? How would I get the money to pay for it? Where would I live? So many questions, but I didn't have any answers. Felt like I'd been cut adrift from my parents, my teachers, and even my friends. I was alone. The decision about what to do next was up to me. All of a sudden, I had to start adulting. I had to start figuring out my own path, but nothing seemed clear. How do I even know what my options are? How do I know I'm making the right decisions? I had a few vague ideas about what I might want to do next, but I had no idea how to get there. I was lost. So here I am now, trying to figure out what I should be doing with my life, and meanwhile, everyone around me seems to already have things figured out. My parents have a list of approved professions for me to pursue, none of which sound exciting to me. Some of my friends are taking a year off to go backpacking across Europe, while a few others have already landed jobs. I've even got friends who are already accepted into college. It's like everybody's already got their stuff together. Well, except for those kids. I don't even know what they're doing. Am I one of them? What if I never amount to anything? What if I don't make the right choices? What if this is as good as it gets? What if I'm stuck here forever?
So go ahead and take the next 2 minutes to discuss a little bit about, the concept of a post-secondary plan. We'll give you guys 2 minutes, and then we'll come back to this concept here in just a minute or two. let's talk about post-secondary options. Let's go ahead and break them down. For today, we're going to cover these 4 general areas with regards to a post-secondary plan. You have your 2-year colleges, your 4-year colleges and universities, vocational, trade schools, and apprenticeships, as well as military service. Now, keep in mind, these are the only 4 we have time to cover today. There are other post-secondary plans. Some choose to go directly into the workforce for various reasons. But keep in mind, whatever option you choose, have an end goal in mind of where you'd like that next step out of high school to lead you. So let's talk about 2-year colleges. You might refer to them as community colleges as well. 2-year colleges offer associate's degrees, certificate programs, and can be a path to a 4-year university, oftentimes referred to as a transfer program or a transfer student. Many of these certificated programs offered by colleges are less than 2 years. It can be as little as 6 months to 18 months. These certificate programs typically allow the student to gain certain skills to get right into the workforce in whatever particular field they choose to study. In our region, we have Grossmont and Cuyamaca College. Both Grossmont and Cuyamaca College offer what is called the 2-year Promise program. Now, if a student qualifies, they can get up to 2 years waived of tuition waivers for attending the community college. This could be a good strategy for students who are looking to minimize their loan debt by taking care of some of those general education requirements at the community college before they transfer to the 4-year. So let's talk about 4-year colleges and universities. 4-year college and universities offer what is referred to as bachelor's degree. Many will also offer what is referred to as master's degree, but only a few will offer what's referred to as a doctoral degree. A 4-year degree or a bachelor's degree typically takes 4 to 5 years to complete after high school, and you will focus on what is called a major. Typically, you select that before you get to the college, but in many cases, you can get to the college and decide, hey, you want to study something else. For me personally, I switched my major like 3 or 4 times. I started my 4-year college university as a finance major, but eventually ended up studying kinesiology and got into athletic training. A master's degree takes about 2 years or so after you're done with your bachelor's degree. And a master's degree, you'll pick something very specific to study within, usually related to what your bachelor's degree was in. For me, my master's degree, I pursued sports psychology because it was closely related to athletic training. Now, a doctorate degree is usually not offered at every university. It is up to 4 to 5 years post-college, depending on what you're pursuing or where you're pursuing your doctoral degree from. In some cases, a student will get their master or their bachelor's degree, then their master's, and then their doctorate. But it's definitely possible to complete your bachelor's degree and get into your doctoral program, but it's just a little bit more challenging that way. One thing to consider about 4-year universities and colleges is they're typically more expensive tuition-wise, and in many cases, depending on what you want to study, it might be hard to get into that particular field of study. In California, we have 2 major college and university systems. They are referred to as the CSUs and the UC system. We have about 23 total CSU campuses, and you can see there all throughout the state. There's my alma mater, San Jose. And then from the UC system, we have about 9 campuses across California. UC San Francisco, you'll see listed there, is really only focused on graduate level coursework. An example would be med school or law school. In order to get into a 4-year college for these 2 systems I mentioned, the CSU and the UC schools, you have to complete what are referred to as your A through G requirements. Now, you probably at this point have heard that term from your counselors, from your teachers, and what it is a series of classes that you have to take that check off every box from A through G. Now, if you're saying to yourself, well, I'm graduating this year, I didn't get my whatever G credit or E credit elective course, or maybe it's a science course or something, who knows? It doesn't mean you can't eventually attend these schools. It just means you're more likely to probably have to go to community college and transfer in. So don't get discouraged if you get to a point where it's like, oh man, I didn't get my A through G requirements done. I can't ever go to CSU or UCs. Surely you can, but it just means your path there is going to be a little different. Now, I just mentioned CSU and UC colleges and universities. In California alone, there are over 70 private universities, and you can see here how many there are in the region. So you have many options, and that's just within California alone, deciding where you'd like to go. So it really takes a lot of research on your part to kind of figure out what the school offers, what is the city like, right, that the college is in. Am I going to like living here? To give you an example, many students might choose a selection or choose a school on a name, let's say. What I didn't know when I went to San Francisco State to work as a grad student, as a grad assistant, I had no idea that the entire month of August in San Francisco is completely foggy. So it was kind of a culture shock for me, because I got there and I realized, oh man, I didn't know about this region. So not only do you want to look at the college and what they offer, look at the region, look at the city. What does the city have to offer? When choosing a school, say in Central California and Fresno, or Northern California and Humboldt County, what are those schools, what do those cities have to offer? Which is why doing a visit, if possible, is oftentimes the best option when deciding what college to select. So the next post-secondary option is what we refer to as trade, vocational schools, and apprenticeships. Trade and vocational schools typically are really short in length. They're typically have certain fees associated with them, and sometimes they can be kind of high depending on where you go. But however, you're paying for a very short period of time, usually between 6 months to 18 months, just depending on what trade you want to specialize in. Types of trades you can specialize in would be welding, electrical construction, automotive mechanics, maritime, which is anything having to do with ships out at sea, whether they be the operation of the ships or the construction of the ships, maintenance. Also what is referred to as boiler programs, which these are your plumbers, your pipe fitters, and things like that. The next post-secondary school option can also be military service. Now, there are various branches of the military, as you can see from this simple infographic: the Army, the Marines, the Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. As you can see, each branch has its very kind of unique skill set of the type of recruits they're looking for. There are many benefits into joining the military for somebody who maybe doesn't know what they want to do out of high school, but also for those that want to learn or pick up a specific skill. What a lot of people don't realize is, depending on which branch you go into, you will learn a very specific skill. And once you leave the military, you can acquire certifications. Sometimes you can acquire your college degree, and you can get right back and working into the workforce. And in many times, you can go right back and work for the military as a civilian or a private contractor. As you can see here, each one of these branches has pros and cons, and just something to consider, because one of the benefits of joining the military is that you do get your education paid for if you decide during your service time or after your service time, if you want to go back and get some form of education, whether it be a bachelor's or master's degree. So the last time we met, we introduced to you all a tool called Zello, which hopefully you all have been able to log in and explore. Today, this video is going to kind of take you through exploring the various careers within Zello, which might help you kind of think about what your post-secondary plan will look like based on some of the careers you explore and some of the ones you might want to check out and save. Okay, so once you log into Zello, this is your home page. If at any point you want to come back to this page, just go ahead and click on the logo here in the corner. We're going to explore options today. Specifically, we're going to look at careers and maybe save one or two. But before we go on that, I want you guys to check out this link and resource section. This section we will update regularly when we see opportunities for students, whether it be maybe an industry panel on careers, whether it be maybe an internship opportunity, or anything that come up that we might find it interesting for you guys to check out. Today I've linked what we call the living wage calculator, which this is something specific to San Diego County. Living wage meaning the minimum, in this case, let's say one adult would need to have a place to stay, obviously food, transportation. So it comes out to about $21 an hour to be on your own. So that's going to help us because when we click on careers, we can change based on what we want the minimum salaries to be, and it'll change the careers down below. So we'll set it at 44. You can also click on the type of education you like to kind of filter out. So we'll just do 2 years for right now. I have mine filter set at high demand versus low. High demand meaning there are usually a lot of jobs in this field. So as you scroll down, you might see something you find interesting. This cardiovascular tech looks interesting to me. So as I click on that, here you'll see a description of the job. Careers that are similar to a cardiovascular technician. As you scroll down, some of them will have interviews with people that work in the field. As you can see, this field is in high demand, which means if you choose this field and pursue your education, there's a good chance you're going to find a job when you're done. And as you scroll down, a little bit more on the earnings. But what I'd like to point you guys down to is the educational piece. So here, if I want to say, okay, this sounds interesting, I might want to pursue this. Let me click on cardiovascular technician. And here, it takes you to the education needed or where you would pursue this education. And as you can see, locally down the street, Grossmont College has a certificate and an associate's program. And when you click on the college, it takes you a little bit more information about the college as well. You can save the college, come back and check it out. But if you see that this is a field, a career you might like, you could also, on the top here, save or like this career, and you can come back to that later. So let's go ahead and go back to our homepage, and that's how you save a career. Let's check it out. Hopefully this video was helpful for everybody. Remember, your post-secondary plan is like a train map. We all get on at a different station. Sometimes you need to transfer and go in a different direction because your career path is not always a straight line. But with a map, it'll help guide you where you need to go. If you have questions about your post-secondary plan, please talk to your counselor. And remember, there are a lot of people around you willing to help and want to see you succeed. Thanks. Have a great day.